Gucci is living in Tom Ford's shadow while wearing Balenciaga shoes. That's the sentence that kept circling my mind as I watched Demna's first era for the house unfold. On the surface, it's glamorous, it's polished, it's seductive. People are excited again about Gucci. But when you pause the video, zoom in on the clothes, and look at where every line, every pose, every boot, and every spotlight is coming from, you start to realize something uncomfortable. This is not yet Demna's Gucci, it's Tom Ford's Gucci, covered with Demna's fingerprints from Balenciaga. And a house with the global weight of Gucci deserves more than a beautifully lit re-edition. It deserves a point of view. Let's talk about it, because I know some people are going to say, but the collection is gorgeous. I love it. Gucci is finally sexy again. And that's true. There are looks here that are stunning. The leather jumpsuits, the sharp tailoring, the chocolate browns, the fur coats, the tiny bags tucked under the arm, the glamorous walk under that single spotlight. It's visually irresistible, but beautiful does not automatically mean original. And what we are seeing right now is one of the clearest examples in recent fashion history of a house choosing nostalgic safety over a new vocabulary. Demna has now given us 2 chapters at Gucci. The Tiger short film for Spring-Summer 2026 with the framed portraits, La Cativa, La Contessa, La Drama Queen, La Mecenate, and the pre-fall collection. Together they form a world, cinematic, glamorous, almost theatrical. A cast of characters, each frozen in a frame. On paper it sounds promising. Gucci women as archetypes, elevated like portraits in a gallery. The problem is that when you strip away the atmosphere and the frames, what you're left with are clothes that feel like déjà vu. Let's start with the runway. The spotlight, the choreography, the almost movie-like framing of each look. We've seen this before, not metaphorically, literally. Tom Ford's Gucci in the 90s did this. Same graphic oval of light, same stark cinematic staging, same emphasis on a single woman walking out fully formed, fully styled, like a still from a film. The reference is not subtle, it's identical. It's a quote. Then the clothes themselves, the leopard coat. On one side, Demna's Gucci, a leopard print coat, mid-length, worn with pumps and a small bag. On the other side, Tom Ford's Gucci Fall 1999, a leopard print coat, same length, same idea, same fantasy. Are we really going to pretend this is just inspired? Or are we finally ready to admit that this is a direct lift? The sheer black blouse with velvet semi-flared trousers. Again, Demna's version and Ford's version practically match. The styling, the energy, the attitude. It's the same girl, just time-traveled. Even the leather jumpsuit echoed those early 2000s paparazzi photos of Victoria Beckham in head-to-toe leather. The same glossy second skin, the same glossy hair, the same idea of dangerous sexy encoded in black. That's not a crime, but it's also not innovation. And when you zoom out from the references and look at the silhouettes, another layer appears, the Balenciaga shadow. So we end up with a fusion. Tom Ford silhouettes, Balenciaga proportions, Gucci branding. This is where my problem begins. Not with the clothes as objects, but with what this means for Gucci as a house. Gucci is not a small label searching for attention. It is one of the biggest global fashion houses in the world, with the power to shape what millions of people see as desirable. When a house like that leans so hard on a previous era, it tells us something about the industry's state of mind. We are afraid of the future, so we are repackaging the past. Tom Ford's Gucci was already a revolution. It defined sex, glamour, and power in the late 90s and early 2000s. It lives in our archives, our mood boards, our cultural memory, but it already exists. It already did its job. The question for Demna should not be, how well can you quote Tom Ford? The question should be, what can Gucci say in 2026 that it has never said before? And right now, I don't see an answer to that. I see a very competent revival. I see exquisitely styled outfits. I see a mood that is cohesive, seductive, and undeniably photogenic. But I do not see a new alphabet for Gucci. I see fluency in a language that was written 25 years ago. Let's talk about nostalgia for a moment, because that's the core of all of this. Nostalgia is powerful. When an era feels uncertain, people run back to what they know. Brands feel this, they see it in sales. If you put something on the runway that reminds people of the good old days, they respond. So fashion starts to behave like a comfort show. You're not watching it to be challenged, you're watching it to feel safe. Gucci is currently serving the fashion equivalent of a high-budget reboot. The cast is glamorous, the cinematography is beautiful, the costumes are expensive, but the script is familiar. And I want more for Gucci than a reboot. We also need to talk about Demna specifically, because the expectations around him are very different than around a newcomer. Demna is not an unknown designer who needs to prove he can handle a major house. He is someone who already shaped a whole decade at Balenciaga. He knows how to create a strong, divisive, powerful identity. He knows how to build a silhouette and a mood so strong that people can identify it from across the street. So why, when he walks into Gucci, does he start by putting on Tom Ford's greatest hits? Was it a choice? Was it pressure? Was it a brand strategy? Remind them of Ford, get them nostalgic, secure the base, then slowly introduce your own handwriting. If that's the case, then fine. Strategically, I understand it, but we have to name it honestly. This is not Demna's Gucci yet. This is a transitional costume, and I think audiences feel that tension. That's why the reaction online is so split. On one hand, people say, it's Tom Ford Gucci again, finally I missed this, it's serving, I'll take it. On the other, people are saying, we've seen this, it's been done, now what? Both reactions are valid. You can like the clothes and still question the strategy. You can feel pleasure in seeing this kind of glamour again and still say, but I want more than a remix. Because at the end of the day, fashion at this level isn't just about whether something looks good. It's about contribution. What is this era adding to the story of Gucci? What is it adding to the story of fashion? When you look at the pre-fall portrait collection, the same pattern repeats. The frames are charming, the archetypes are fun. Brings summer 2026, La Cativa, La Bomba, La Drama Queen, La Contessa, La Mecenate. It's clever to present looks as portraits, as if we're walking through the private collection of some eccentric billionaire. But again, the clothes themselves, alligator leather suit, Sura coat with fur collar, mini fur jackets, bombshell furs with bare legs, prim red coat, floral gowns, sequined column dresses. Each one could have walked straight out of a Tom Ford era fashion editorial. You know exactly who each woman is because she already existed in the late 90s imagery of Gucci. Where is the 2025 woman in all of this? The one who lives in this reality, not a perfectly retouched memory of the past. This is where the Balenciaga influence becomes interesting. Demna's Balenciaga was about distortion, about discomfort, about the weirdness of our time. It twisted familiar garments into something slightly alien. At Gucci, instead of distorting the past, he seems to be preserving it. The clothes are too respectful, too intact, almost museum-like. And yet the shoes, the trousers, the hyper-elongated points still whisper, Balenciaga was here. It's as if Gucci is trying to speak in two accents at once. Ford's smoky Italian-American seduction and Demna's cynical post-internet irony. The result, for now, is a kind of elegant stutter. I'm not saying this era is a failure, that would be lazy. I'm saying it's unresolved. It's Gucci standing in front of an enormous mirror that reflects its own past, while Demna rearranges the lights. And I think we need to be honest about what that says about fashion in 2025. Luxury houses today are operating under immense pressure. The market wants stability, shareholders want predictable returns, and social media wants immediate emotional gratification. Under those conditions, the safest move is always to serve nostalgia, especially when the archive is as iconic as Gucci's Ford years. But there is a cost to that safety. The more we rely on past formulas, the less space we give to real invention. The more we thank designers for recreating a certain era, the less we demand that they create one of their own. It's not just about Gucci. This is happening across the industry. But Gucci is a particularly loud example because its archive is so beloved and because Demna is such a strong creative personality. If even someone like him is retreating into nostalgia as a first move, what does that say about the level of risk the industry is willing to allow? Maybe he will break out in the next chapter. Maybe this is his way of saying, I know the codes, I respect the codes, now let me twist them. I hope so, because the potential is enormous. Imagine if Demna took the essence of Ford's Gucci, the sexuality, the clarity, the dangerous polish, and filtered it through a 2026 lens. different power dynamics, different gender codes, different ideas about seduction and control. Imagine if he used that spotlight not to freeze a 90s fantasy, but to interrogate what sex, glamour, and power mean now. That would be a real contribution. Instead, right now, we're receiving beautifully repackaged answers to questions the 90s already asked. And I think Gucci deserves and is capable of more. There is also the question of what this teaches younger designers watching from the outside. If the message from a major house is your best shot at success is to flawlessly restage something that already worked, what does that do to ambition? Why would emerging talent take creative risks if the system rewards careful revival over brave invention? A house like Gucci has the cultural reach to model courage. It can say, we trust a strong new vision. We accept that not every look will be instantly memed because we're building something deeper. Instead, this moment feels like the house saying, we know this sells. Let's start there. Again, understandable, but disappointing. I want to be very clear. This is not hatred. This is not me saying burn everything. It's terrible. It isn't. There are looks I genuinely like. There are outfits I can see women wearing and feeling incredible in. There are images from this era that will live on Pinterest boards for years. But my job here isn't to be a sales assistant. It's to be a voice that asks harder questions. And the hard question is, will Demna's Gucci be remembered as a necessary, nostalgic bridge between eras, or as a beautiful hesitation? Because if this era continues exactly like this, quoting Ford, referencing his own Balenciaga language, playing safe with sexy, it risks becoming a footnote instead of a chapter. What I'm hoping for, and what I think many of you are hoping for, is a turn. A moment where the collections stop asking, did we get the Tom Ford vibe right? And start asking, what does our Gucci woman look like now, when she's not a memory, but a person living in this world? We need silhouettes that feel like they couldn't have walked in 1999, not because they're louder or stranger, but because they're shaped by our reality, our unease, our technology, our contradictions. That's where Demna has always been strong, when he taps into culture, not just archives. So here is where I land. Demna at Gucci has delivered an undeniably seductive image, but seduction built entirely on déjà vu will fade faster than people think. Once the nostalgia rush wears off, the question will remain, who are you really as a creative director for this house? And Gucci, with its global power, deserves an answer that isn't just a perfectly lit reflection. If you want to go deeper into this, into how nostalgia operates in fashion, how houses use archives strategically, and what creative direction could look like if we truly valued originality again, that's exactly what I explore in GTWJ Issue 001. It's a digital magazine where I can do what YouTube doesn't always allow. Slow down, put images side by side, trace the evolution of a house across decades, and talk honestly about where fashion is heading. But for now, I want to hear from you. Do you feel excited by this new Gucci era because you missed that Tom Ford energy? Or do you feel like we've been given the most beautiful cover band in fashion history? Fun to watch, but not yet writing its own songs? Let me know in the comments. Be honest, be respectful, and as always, think beyond I like it or I hate it. Ask yourself why. Thank you for watching, for thinking, and for caring about fashion as more than just outfits. I'll see you in the next video.